The film started when my good friend and co-producer, Dominic Derringer, saw the PBS piece, the Life and Times piece. It's about a third of the way through the film, where a woman, Valsaval, is walking through the garden, and she says Mr. Horowitz wouldn't speak to our camera, and it's one she has some quotes of his on screen. And he saw that piece, and we've been looking to do a project together, and he sent me, he actually sent me the transcript because I was out of Los Angeles, and it just had so many great elements of a great American story, a great Los Angeles story, and best of all, the farmers weren't leaving. So I literally went to the garden, coming back to Los Angeles, went to the garden from LAX, and went there on like a Tuesday and started shooting on a Wednesday. It all happened very quickly because the threat of the February 29th, 2004, oops, bye-bye. February 29th, 2004 eviction was right there. So that's the beginning of the story.
The lady Rufina she's a very compelling character. Mm-hmm. Was she politically involved or politically prominent before this all came up?
That's a good question. I don't. Did you ever hear the question of Rufina? Was she political before? That's one of the more fascinating parts of the story for me. Was the kind of birth of somebody finding their political voice and a group finding their political legs and political potential. Different people have told me different things. She was a little quiet about it. She'd had some experience. She likes to say that being a Latina is a political thing on its own. Literally, I have quotes of her telling that, which is a fair statement. Which is a fair statement. And she, but on this level, absolutely nothing close. I mean, she'd been to some demonstrations and I think tried to organize against a couple of, I think it was land issues, I'm not remembering, but very much this was the biggest she'd ever taken on. And then people like Josefina is one of my favorite journeys, to see her go from talking about having her legs shaking and speaking in Spanish at city council to speaking in English at the end. And I mean, I'd never even been to city council, so it wasn't just seeing them go on this journey of learning about politics. It was a journey for me as well, that I barely knew that public comment existed, and I think it's one of like the cornerstones of what we can do in a democracy. It's like on any Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, you can show up and speak your mind to the city council. Is it going to be, peeing into the wind, for lack of a better term, that it's going to fall on deaf ears or something like that? Possibly, but it's there. It is there that you can go. And just a little follow-up to that, they changed the amount of time that you can speak at public comment because of the number of times that the farmers went. Farmers went approximately, I forgot the number now, but it was 3 times a week between November 2004 till into late 2006, even after the eviction and demolition, many times, and they changed it from 3 minutes now to 1 minute that you can speak in public comment, thanks to the farmers. So, in terms of the land, it's still dirt. Mr. Horowitz is trying to build a warehouse connected with the clothing company Forever 21. Are they in malls here too as well? Yeah. And it gets stickier. He was trying to put it through without doing an environmental impact report, so to see the effect of the diesel trucks and the particulates from the brakes of all the trucks that would be coming into the neighborhood. The farmers fought that and actually won, and he agreed to do an environmental impact report. He still hasn't done it though, so I'm waiting to hear an update, because that was almost a year ago now, waiting to hear an update of the fact that he hasn't done it might bring that to an end, hopefully, that particular play that he was trying to make. The Forever 21 player gets stickier still because the LA Times, actually along with Tesla, someone helped them with some research, found that Ragosa was given $1.3 million for some of his pet projects directly from Forever 21, including, strangely enough, planting 1 million trees in Los Angeles. So the farmers, some of them think that it was kind of a head fake the whole time that he was saying that was helping him, not just that he didn't show up at that key time just before the eviction, but possibly, haven't seen enough to think that couldn't be other smelly politics, because I want to believe that he did think that the garden was beautiful. He just didn't have, for whatever reasons, the wherewithal to show up at that very important time.
I'm a community gardener in a predominantly minority community in town here, and we really struggle with apathy in the community garden. trying to get the local residents out to like work the land. One of the things I really noticed in the documentary was like how few, like even when they had that big festival, the music festival in the garden,
Yeah.
it seemed like it was kind of sparsely populated.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that created some of the tension that it seemed to cause between Rufina and some of the other characters in the community garden there, or the farm.
What caused the tension?
I'm wondering if there was kind of a vacuum caused from apathy, that the leadership that rose up might not have been as representative of the people, because there wasn't a whole lot of people that were speaking up and actively creating a movement early on.
One of the other more fascinating elements I find in the film is oftentimes a film that is of an issue. In this case, you could say it's community gardens. I hope it's many more things than that. There's, you know, justice for all and equal rights and racial issues and many things. Oftentimes they can be kind of preaching to the choir, like it's one-sided, and I've been accused of this film being one-sided, and I can't fight that in some ways. But the infighting that happened there is one of the more fascinating elements about how hard it is to, what we were just talking about before with Mr. Ragosa, to maintain the line of treating each other fairly and not getting sidetracked by ego and self-interest and power and all the baggage that each of us have with us that, you know, derails us. So that's more, I think that's more there than the apathy thing. I mean, apathy is definitely a part of this story, but I don't know if it's particularly there. I think it's, I mean, I think the community turnout for the concert was good in terms of, you know, it was in the middle of the week, and it's 41st in Alameda. It's not, you know, the whiskey. It's not like an easy place to get to for a concert. I don't think that was the problem. I think it goes to, you know, all these other layers of, you know, how could they have played the political game in a different way? I think they actually did very well. I mean, you see like all the hoops that they jumped through and they still didn't get it. So I mean, at the end of the day, the reason that the garden didn't continue, I don't think are the failings of the farm.
Can you talk a little bit about the funding and the distribution of the film?
Was it more funding?
That has something to do with money.
What's the funding? Was that? That's cute. That's funny. I could ask Mr. Bay next door. Transformers, anyone? Funding of the film was mostly self-funded. It was me and my camera for many, many days, and other people working with me for free. And then I got some donations from friends and family on small amounts. You see a lot of thank yous there at the end. Those are those people that sent checks at the beginning. The two people that get the big billing at the front are the Katahdin Foundation, Katahdin Productions, and Impact Partners. Katahdin Productions is based in Berkeley and Los Angeles, and they produce social issue documentaries, and they put in, I think they put in money about 3/4 of the way through production, so like a little while before finishing principal photography. Excuse me. And Impact Partners finances social issue documentaries, and they're based in New York, and they came in with some finishing funds. Not enough, but bless their hearts, it sure helped. So what was it? Was it distribution? Distribution, Oscilloscope is the distributor. You saw them at the beginning with that cool logo. Very difficult name though, Oscilloscope. Doesn't really roll off the tongue. Started by Adam Yauch of the Beastie Boys. You guys know Adam Yauch? Good man. And David Finkel used to be with Think Film, another good distributor out of Canada that had some financial problems in the end, but they distributed a lot of great films. So they're only about 1.5 years old now. Dear Zachary, Wendy and Lucy.
Winnebago Man that played at South by Southwest. You guys saw that?
Oh, I didn't know that was there. So yeah.
Well, apparently it's just I
Yeah,
read that.
right. No, they got and No Impact Man, I think is coming too. They got they're making some. They're trying to put out this hopefully good smaller films. Not to do my own horn, but and they're doing some good work. So that was for him.